Come on, 2 Chain. You never seen the movie Friday? I tried to tell you to tuck your shit in, and now you got bullets flying at your chin. This is Mark Bell. I'm SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. Answering more questions today for The Power Project, brought to you by HowMuchYouBench.net, the Sling Shot, and the only freaking strength magazine in the world, thepowermagazine.com. Make sure you go on there right now and subscribe and get the latest issue with Stan the Rhino Efforting. Speaking of Stan the Rhino Efforting, we were talking this morning, and we were talking about some things of epic proportions. We were talking about repetitions in the 3 big lifts. We were talking about time under tension. We were talking about coming off tension. We were talking about how we both agreed 100% that partial range of motion movements are highly effective. We both were in full agreement that the bottom of the bench press is something that is misunderstood. Strength off the chest is misunderstood. We also both agree upon another startling fact, that while it is great to hammer your weaknesses, what about working your strengths? And we also, Stan told me something profound today that I thought was amazing. He said sometimes you got to back your way into something. And think about that. Think about this for a second. Chew on this piece of fat for a minute. The Rhino said, I said, think about if you're working with a 15-year-old kid, and that kid just really sucked at deadlifting. And let's say he's good at a couple other things, but he really sucks at deadlifting. And so you don't want this kid to slice his wrists. You'd like to, if this kid's a client, if you're a trainer or a coach, you'd like to keep said client, right? And also, how much better is his lift going to get from the floor when he's all rounded over and hunched over? He's got 75 different mobility issues going on. He has weak hamstrings that have yet to be tapped into, so on and so forth. The list goes on and on of the issues that this individual has. Stan said to me, he's like, it's not like it's all of a sudden that issue is going to get better. He's like, over a period of time, maybe it will get better. But he's not going to get a whole lot stronger because he can't even pick up enough weight to elicit the correct response. And so therefore, he has to kind of back his way into being stronger off the floor. How do you do that? Find where the kid is strong and work on that and make that area stronger. Give the kid some confidence. Give the kid a sense of what he's doing, how to turn on his muscle fibers, and how to flex and fight through a lift. So if it's in a deadlift, maybe for a little while, maybe we're using rack pulls. Or maybe if it looks like I'm extremely parched, it's because I just got done with a workout and I ran out of water. So if I'm getting that white, that white goop that you get right here, I'm getting all that shit going on, it's because I just got done doing sprints and shit like that. It's awful. I'll explain it some other day, some other time, some other place. But for now, this is what we're talking about. And so sometimes you have to back your way into that strength level. Stan also mentioned to me, he said I was never at my strongest, except for when I was training side by side with you when I was at Super Training Gym, and we were doing board presses and we were doing partial range of motion. And we got on that topic a little bit longer. And as we started, just going back to the deadlifter real quick, we both kind of just felt like if you built that kid's strength up on some blocks, worked him down over a period of time, and then had him working, simultaneously throughout the weeks on some lighter pulls from the floor, that voila, his strength would go up from the floor and he would start to get better. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. There's a bunch of different ways to go about doing that, but that is one very effective way of doing it, and backing your way into it and working on your strengths rather than focusing on your weaknesses or focusing on a bunch of shit that's never going to happen, like you losing 100 pounds, setting your goals too high, worrying about stuff that you're not going to be able to achieve. You're sometimes better off just kind of backing your way into it and chipping away. Anyway, back to story number 2, where we're talking about these partial range of motion movements in the bench press. Stan was saying how he's neglected some of the lockout work, and he was working full range. And his strength never got back to where it was. Even though he's trying to figure it out. He's like, what the hell? Why can't I get my strength back to where it was? Because we feel that partial range of motion, which have been around forever, for years and years and years, is crucial to strength gains. And this shouldn't be any news to you. This is just something I'm sharing with a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys already know this. There's already block pulls. There's already pin presses. There's already, you heard this Paul Anderson stories of him doing half squats and things like that with 1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds, that type of shit. But I want to point this out to a lot of you guys out there, because I know a lot of people say, oh, I had my coach, show me the correct form, and I got to get my ass all the way to the floor in those squats, and here's the perfect execution of it. And that's all fine and dandy, but you're only able to use 185 pounds that way. And that's not really what we're after. We're after an overload oftentimes. Being able to touch your ass on the floor and use 185 pounds, that would be an underload. And we need that as well. We need both aspects of strength in order for strength to go up. But the partial range of motion movements, every power lifter over the years has utilized something along the lines of something that looks like a partial range of motion, or something that is a partial range of motion. Now you might be thinking, well, what about Ed Cohn? What about Ed Cohn? Ed Cohn used partial range of motion. Ed Cohn used methods of overload. Are you freaking kidding me? Ed Cohn would do all kinds of different tricks. He would do underload, overload. He would do high bar squats. That would be an underload. Low bar would be an overload. Wrapping his knees and getting in his suit and doing all that shit, that would be a heavy overload. Correct? None of those are partial range of motion, because you knew Ed Cohn was a hardcore mofo and he always stuck the squats where he needed to stick them. However, look back at some of the footage and some of the stuff he did on the YouTubes. Did he do touch and go bench presses? Did he kind of drop them down on his chest, heave them back up? Now, that might not look like a partial range of motion movement, but guess what? In my eyes, it is. And in my mind, it is, because he's skipping out on part of the lift and he's riding it out from here. Skipping out on part of the lift and riding it out from there. What was he doing? He was doing a slingshot press before the slingshot was ever invented. And there was a lot of other guys that used to do the same thing. Kind of bounce the weight out of the bottom. Catch it, ride it, glide it to the top. And that can also be viewed, in my opinion, as a partial range of motion. I know they're going full range. Other guys would drop it onto like a carpet or a rolled up towel. I call that a prison lift for many reasons, but we'll get into that some other time. So these partial range of motions can be very crucial to your strength gains. Ed Cohn used to also do behind the neck presses. He'd do the behind the neck press. He'd get like a little rhythm going, and he was only kind of like pumping them through here. Ed Cohn had extremely long arms. He could have pressed that sucker, and he could have pushed the roof of the building off probably if he wanted to. But he was just pressing in a strict manner, right back behind. You guys like that? Like, it looks like I'm dancing. Whoop, whoop. Okay, I promise everybody, I will never, ever do that again. Okay? Did I lose anybody? Did anybody unsubscribe? I apologize. I told you, I just got done doing sprints. I'm out of my element. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. Anyway, let's get back to this matter and talk about this a little bit more. The effectiveness of something like a Sling Shot. I know that is my product, and I sometimes hate to come on here and badger you with it, but the fucking thing works. The thing works. How do I know it works? Because thousands of people are using it, getting great results, including myself. You might think it's bullshit. You might think, oh man, he probably doesn't use it. He says he uses it. Some people think I endorse it. I don't endorse it. I fucking invented the thing. I made it from scratch. From no other idea except for the ideas bouncing around inside my head, regardless of what you heard. Always believe in the people's coach. He'll come back around to you at some point. Maybe I'll give you a free slingshot if you're nice to me. But anyway, a slingshot is a supportive upper body device that allows you to overload, allows you to handle more weight for more reps and more sets and more overall volume. Plus, it keeps you safe. It's keeping you safe. It's keeping you from getting hurt. The bottom position of a bench press is a dangerous one. I say it all the time. I know that I've made my bread and butter. I've made my millions and millions of dollars on the bench press. But the bench press is a very dangerous movement. You have both arms pinned back behind your body. It's not an unnatural position to have such huge loads on your chest. You guys heard me say that one before, but it never gets old. Huge loads on your chest. Whenever you have those kind of weights, resting in your shoulders, it can be pretty brutal. So you're going to have to take some sort of precaution. Trust me on this. Use a rolled up carpet. Try a man pond. Buy a Sling Shot. Try a reverse band bench. There's other methods you can utilize other than utilizing Sling Shot. Although I love selling those slingshots, you guys can do some other things. You can do a floor press with some foam underneath your elbows, and that'll help kind of propel you back up. There's nothing quite like the slingshot. The convenience of it, the feel of it, the way the damn thing works is genius, I must say. But there's other things that you can do to mimic that. But the whole point of all this is to make sure that you guys are understanding that there's many, many ways to get stronger. There's many ways to get better. And make sure you're exploring all these different ways, and make sure you're starting to find your niche and what works well for you. Ed Cohn feels that if he did partial range of motion deadlifts, that he would have hurt himself. He didn't like it. He felt like the muscles were engaging at the wrong time. And he did not like rack pulls and things like that. And who knows how many times he actually tried it. Maybe he tried them twice and he was like, screw this. Maybe he did 1150 and he was like, this is stupid. But find what works for you. Don't just take my advice. Go ahead and try it. And when you try it, is it better or is it worse? Is it better or is it worse? And there's a bunch of key factors in determining a bunch of key factors to determine whether these things are better or worse. Not only the weight that was lifted, but also how you feel after the workout. Did you get a lot of volume in? Did you get a lot of quality work in? And how do you feel afterwards? How do you feel mentally? Do you feel better? Do you feel stronger? Are you happy with your workout? Are you excited about your workout? If you come out of your workout and you're excited, to me, that beats the hell out of just about anything else. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to go about doing these things, but if you come out of a workout and you're fired up and you're excited, I just gave Brandon and Lily some advice. I kept telling Brandon, I'm like, you're an idiot. You got to get that bar lower on your freaking back when you squat. Your torso's too long. You lean over too much. Get the bar lower. Get the bar lower. Get the bar lower. Get the bar lower. Every week. Up his ass. I'm right up his ass. Right where I should be. Tell him to get the bar lower. Finally gets the bar lower, and he gets a 25-pound PR. Smokes it for an easy double. Tried to go for a triple, got off balance. Something happened to him, and he couldn't quite come through with the third rep. But he did like 750 or 745 or something like that for an easy double, all because he worked the bar an inch and a half lower down his back. You got to find what works for you. You got to find the method that's going to fit into your program the best. Multiply your hustle, multiply your muscle. Strength is never a weakness, and that is it from supertraining.tv.